Okay, let me paint a picture for you that might feel, well, incredibly familiar. You went to bed last night and your body was supposed to do something absolutely extraordinary while you slept. We're talking about a precise, completely silent, fat-burning sequence that evolution spent literally 200,000 years perfecting. But it didn't run, did it? Look, I know exactly how maddening this is. You didn't overeat, you ate clean, you drank your water, you got your steps in, maybe you even crushed a workout at the gym. And yet, you wake up, look down, and that stubborn belly fat is sitting exactly where it was yesterday. You were doing everything right, but the scale simply refuses to budge. It's beyond frustrating, right? Because for decades, the fitness industry has sold us this universally accepted myth that stubborn fat is just a willpower problem. They tell us over and over, hey, it's just calories in versus calories out. They treat your beautifully complex body like a basic math equation, assuming that if you just restrict yourself more, the fat's going to melt away. But if you're checking out this explainer, you already know the math isn't mathing. It's a complete illusion. And that really brings us to the core philosophy of what we're talking about today. Burning belly fat is not a battle of willpower. It is a negotiation with your biology. We have to completely shift our paradigm here. We've got to stop starving the body and start communicating directly with its hormonal signals. Because right now, your body isn't stubborn, and it definitely isn't broken. It is just receiving the wrong instructions. So let's dive into this roadmap and decode your body's biochemistry. We're going to bust the calorie myth, target visceral fat, explore the liver's night shift, look at foods that change your biology, expose 3 metabolic destroyers, and finally, build out your daily biological blueprint. Part 1, the calorie counting myth, and why eat less, move more completely fails us. For years, the fitness industry has ignored the actual fire, pretending that all body fat plays by the exact same rules. But there is a stark contrast. Subcutaneous fat, the squishy fat right under your skin, that actually does respond to a standard caloric deficit. Visceral fat, however, that deep, hard belly fat wrapped around your organs, acts as an active, defensive, inflammatory organ. It doesn't care about your calorie deficit at all. It responds entirely to hormonal signals and inflammation. Meet the bouncer of your fat cells. It's an enzyme called lipoprotein lipase, or LPL for short. LPL is basically the traffic controller. When your biology is humming along and optimized, LPL routes incoming dietary fat right into your muscles to burn as fuel. Perfect, right? But when your system is inflamed or your liver is overloaded, LPL completely flips the switch. It actively routes that incoming fat straight into your visceral tissue for deep, protected storage. No way around it. Moving to part 2, targeting visceral fat and how we actually disarm this inflammatory organ. So, if visceral fat is actively defending itself, how do we force the body to let it go? Well, the answer is in this number right here, 4. Visceral fat has exactly 4 times the amount of cortisol receptors compared to regular fat. And cortisol, as you probably know, is your primary stress hormone. This means when your body is stressed out, flooded with cortisol from poor sleep, artificial light, or even those brutal early morning workouts, it actively hoards visceral fat. Every single stress signal your body produces finds visceral fat first. Part 3, the liver's night shift. Let's talk about switching from storage to burning. Think about this. For 200,000 years, your liver operated like a perfect factory. It clocked in for a silent night shift every single night to burn fat while you slept. But in our modern world, this process, which has the very fancy name of de novo lipogenesis, gets completely broken. When you eat a heavy meal at 9 p.m., or you're flooding your eyes with blue light from your phone in bed, you keep your insulin and cortisol elevated. Your liver gets super confused. It literally chooses to create brand new fat from scratch instead of burning what you already have. Your fat-burning night shift never even clocks in. Okay, part 4, foods that change biology. The protectors and the builders. Let's see how everyday foods can step in here. To fix these broken signals, we can use everyday foods as biological Trojan horses. First up, the budget builders. Look, you do not need ridiculously expensive supplements to build muscle. Eggs give you complete protein for less than $3 a dozen. Canned tuna, that delivers 20 grams of zero-prec protein for about $1 a can. Oats provide slow-releasing energy with cholesterol-lowering beta-glucan for literally pennies per serving. And black beans give you an amazing 1-2 punch of 15 grams of protein and 15 grams of fiber for under $1. keeping your blood sugar perfectly stable. These foods feed your muscle and fuel the system, and they don't break the bank. And to specifically disarm that stubborn belly fat, we have our visceral fat targeters. These foods have actual molecular superpowers. Fatty fish contain omega-3s that physically bind to receptors inside visceral fat to halt inflammation. Dark berries, they boost your natural insulin-sensitizing hormones by a massive 29%. Green tea activates enzymes that literally flip your fat cells from storage mode into spend mode. A quick splash of apple cider vinegar blunts those post-meal insulin spikes. And those budget-friendly eggs we just talked about, their choline is the exact nutrient your liver requires to physically export fat out of its cells. It's an incredible toolkit. Part 5. The 3 metabolic destroyers. These are what silence your fat-burning signals. Because here's the harsh truth. You could eat all the dark berries and salmon in the world, but 3 incredibly common inputs will silently cancel out all your hard work. First is the fructose bottleneck. Glucose can be metabolized and used for energy by every single cell in your body. But fructose, things like high fructose corn syrup, are metabolized exclusively by the liver. When you consume it, it creates a massive biological bottleneck. The liver just can't process it fast enough. So, through that de novo lipogenesis process we mentioned, it immediately converts it into triglycerides, which get deposited directly into, you guessed it, your visceral belly fat. Second is this absolutely shocking ratio. Historically, human beings ate a 1-to-1 ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 fatty acids. Today, thanks to ultra-processed foods and refined seed oils everywhere, we are at 20-to-1. That extreme imbalance creates massive cellular inflammation, which overrides every single fat-burning signal in your body. And the third destroyer is alcohol. Alcohol acts as a direct cortisol injection straight into the tissue that, remember, has 4 times the cortisol receptors. It is literally telling your belly fat to grow. All right, part 6, your daily biological blueprint. It's time to sync the clock. So, what does this all mean for you tonight? How do we put this into a seamless daily system and actually negotiate with our biology? Well, here is your perfect night routine to let your liver's night shift finally clock in. Try to finish eating by 6:30 p.m. This gives your body time to clear the insulin backlog. By 8 p.m., all screens go off. This protects your cortisol nadir, which is its natural lowest point of the day. At 8:30 p.m., drink 8 ounces of decaf green tea to inhibit fatty acid synthesis. And by 9 p.m., make sure your room is cool, around 65 to 68 degrees. That temperature initiates the deep, slow-wave sleep required to flip your LPL traffic controller right back into fat-burning mode. To summarize our entire philosophy for this explainer, it comes down to 3 steps. First, clear the liver. Use warm lemon water in the morning and take gentle post-dinner walks to drop your glucose without spiking your cortisol. Second, feed the muscle. Load up on our budget proteins and use those targeted superfoods we discussed to send powerful anti-inflammatory signals. Third, sync the clock. Protect your nighttime routines so your body can do what it was built to do. Because true health requires signaling, not starvation. Your belly fat isn't stubbornness, and it isn't a failure of willpower. It's protection. Your body has just been reacting to a world it genuinely thinks is under siege. It isn't broken. It just desperately needs the right instructions. That negotiation starts tonight. So the only question left is, are you finally ready to change the signal?